Have you ever wondered why certain things in your life didn't work out, only to realize later that those very detours saved you from something far worse? What if the obstacles, the delays, and even the losses were not punishments, but signs of protection from a power greater than your conscious mind can perceive? There are moments in life when events align in such a way that they defy logical explanation. You meet someone at the exact time you need their wisdom, a door closes but another opens immediately, or you escape danger without realizing how narrowly you were spared. These are not mere coincidences. They are glimpses of unseen guidance. The human mind often interprets reality through reason alone, but beneath the surface, there exists a deeper order that arranges circumstances with precision. This guidance is subtle, rarely announced with clarity, but it leaves a trail in the form of synchronicities and meaningful patterns. When we pay attention, these small signs reveal that life is not a random series of events, but a dialogue between the seen and unseen. A higher intelligence whispers through symbols, chance meetings, and unexpected opportunities. It protects us not by removing every difficulty, but by weaving hidden safeguards into our path. The missed bus that frustrates you might be the very delay that spares you from harm. The sudden urge to call someone might reconnect you to the support you didn't know you needed. To recognize this protection requires trust and awareness. It asks us to look beyond the surface and embrace the possibility that we are guided. The more we attune ourselves to these signs, the more we understand that we are not alone in our journey. There is a quiet presence, ever watchful, ensuring that we are led toward what serves our highest good. Protection from a higher power does not always reveal itself in the obvious form of safety or rescue. Sometimes it emerges through the removal of things we once thought we needed. You may find that people walk out of your life unexpectedly. Jobs end without warning. Relationships dissolve. Or long, cherished plans collapse suddenly. At first glance, this feels like abandonment or punishment. Yet, when we reflect deeper, we realize that what was taken away was not aligned with our growth. The higher order of life often intervenes, not by giving us everything we want, but by stripping away what prevents us from becoming who we are meant to be. This kind of protection is difficult for the human mind to accept because it clashes with desire and attachment. We cling to what is familiar because it feels secure, even when it limits us. A job may drain your spirit, but because it provides stability, you hold on. A relationship may no longer nurture your soul, yet fear of loneliness keeps you bound. In such moments, higher protection acts almost like a surgeon, removing with precision what is toxic, even if the process feels painful. Just as the body undergoes discomfort during healing, the soul often experiences loss as part of its protection. The universe has a way of creating empty spaces in our lives, and though these voids feel unsettling, they prepare us for something greater. If certain doors had not closed, you would not be forced to search for new ones. If certain people had not left, you would not have discovered the strength within yourself. These endings are not accidents but purposeful interventions that push us closer to alignment with our true path. What feels like rejection is often redirection. What feels like an ending is often the protection of a new beginning. To perceive this form of protection requires both patience and faith. It asks us to trust the intelligence of life, to understand that the unseen hand moves with greater clarity than our limited perspective. In time, when you look back, you begin to see the perfection in these losses. You notice how the absence of one opportunity opened the way for something more profound. You see how a broken relationship spared you from deeper suffering. You understand that the closed door was not against you but for you. Protection is not always about saving us from immediate danger. Sometimes it is about saving us from ourselves, our attachments, our illusions, and our unwillingness to let go. The higher power operates from the wisdom of the whole, guiding us beyond what we can see in the moment. If we can learn to release control and trust the unfolding of life, we will recognize that even in loss, we are being carefully watched over. The hand that takes away also creates space for what is truly meant for us, and in that recognition, we find both peace and strength. There are moments in life when the path ahead feels uncertain, and yet, somehow, you encounter guidance that appears exactly when you need it most. This guidance may come through synchronicities, those mysterious coincidences that feel too precise to be accidental. You might think of a person, and they suddenly call. You may be struggling with a decision, and a book, a conversation, or even a line from a song presents the answer you needed. These events are not random. They are signals from a higher intelligence that you are being watched over and directed. They whisper to you that you are not wandering alone, that there is a thread weaving through your life with greater intention than your conscious mind can grasp. Synchronicity is one of the clearest signs of protection because it shows that the universe is actively engaged in your journey. It is as if life conspires to place signs on your path, gently steering you away from harm or nudging you toward what nourishes your soul. You may have been on the verge of making a choice that would have led you into difficulty, yet a seemingly small coincidence interrupts your course, guiding you elsewhere. In these moments, the higher power intervenes not with force, but with subtlety, allowing you to feel as though you are still choosing freely, while in truth, your steps are being gently guided towards safety and alignment. This kind of guidance also protects the inner dimension of your being. It reassures the soul when the mind is doubtful, reminding you that there is meaning beyond what appears on the surface. Synchronicities often show up most clearly when you are in periods of transition or growth, times when you might feel vulnerable, uncertain, or even abandoned. In these seasons, the higher power sends you small but undeniable confirmations that you are not forgotten. Even when your conscious mind resists or doubts, the subtle signs persist, breaking through the veil of ordinary chance to remind you of the deeper order at play. It is important, however, to learn how to recognize these signs and not dismiss them. Many people brush aside synchronicities as mere coincidences, never pausing to consider their significance. Protection requires awareness. It is not that the signs are absent, but that we fail to notice them. By cultivating stillness, reflection, and openness, you become more sensitive to the guidance that surrounds you. Each meaningful encounter, each perfectly timed event, becomes a reassurance that your path is guarded. This protective guidance also builds trust in life itself. When you begin to see how precisely events align for your benefit, even in ways you could not have planned, you start to loosen your grip on fear and control. You realize that you are part of a larger design, one that cares for your well-being even when you cannot see the whole picture. With time, this realization allows you to surrender more deeply, knowing that no matter how chaotic circumstances may seem, there is an unseen intelligence working tirelessly to protect and guide you. Ultimately, synchronicities are not just signs of protection, but invitations into partnership with the greater order of existence. They remind you that you are part of a living dialogue with life, where your inner world and the outer world meet in harmony. The universe speaks to you constantly, and when you begin to listen, you recognize that every step is safeguarded, every misstep corrected, and every path illuminated when you are willing to notice and trust. There are times when the most powerful sign of protection is not what enters your life, but what never arrives. Often, people see protection only in the blessings and opportunities that unfold before them, but rarely in the closed doors, the missed chances, or the people who suddenly drift away. Yet, when examined with deeper vision, these absences reveal themselves as guardianship in disguise. A higher power shields you, not only by providing what you need, but also by removing what could harm you, even if at first it feels like loss, rejection, or disappointment. Think of the moments when you longed for a relationship to work out, only to watch it dissolve. At the time, it may have broken your heart, but looking back, you may recognize how that relationship would have drained your energy, distracted you from your true path, or limited your growth. Similarly, you may recall opportunities you desperately wanted but failed to secure: jobs, ventures, or partnerships. Later, you realize that if those doors had opened, they would have trapped you in places where your soul would wither. What you once labeled as failure was in fact protection, carefully orchestrated to prevent you from walking into hidden traps. This kind of protection is subtle and often misunderstood because it requires patience and hindsight. Human beings tend to see only in the short term. We crave immediate fulfillment, comfort, and certainty, so when something does not unfold as planned, we feel betrayed or abandoned. But the higher power operates with a longer vision. It perceives what we cannot, the consequences years ahead, the invisible chains attached to certain desires, the dangers hidden behind attractive facades. By withholding certain things, it ensures that we do not stumble into situations that would harm not just our outer life, but also the deeper integrity of our soul. Consider how many times in your own life something seemed to go wrong, yet in hindsight, it was the best outcome possible. The job rejection that forced you onto a different path that eventually brought fulfillment. The delayed journey that prevented you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The friendships that ended abruptly, sparing you from being entangled in dramas that would have exhausted your spirit. Each of these examples is evidence of unseen hands moving to protect you, even when you were not aware of their presence. To recognize this form of protection, one must cultivate trust. Without trust, you see only loss and frustration. With trust, you begin to perceive design. You start to understand that life is not punishing you, but preserving you. When something is removed from your path, it is not an act of cruelty, but an act of care. The higher power knows when your desire is leading you into danger, and it intervenes, not by forcing you to understand in the moment, but by quietly redirecting your steps. This awareness can transform how you respond to disappointments. Instead of despairing when life says no, you begin to pause and reflect. What unseen harm might I have been spared? What greater alignment might be waiting just ahead? In time, this perspective helps you to release resentment and to welcome even the unanswered prayers as a form of divine protection. Ultimately, the things that never arrive, the people who walk away, and the doors that remain closed are not empty spaces, but shields placed around you. They are proof that the higher order of existence is not only guiding you toward what is good, but also guarding you from what is destructive. When you learn to honor these absences as protection, you begin to see that you are never left unguarded, never abandoned, but always sheltered in ways that transcend ordinary perception. One of the most profound signs of being protected by a higher power is the presence of an unexplainable inner peace during times of uncertainty or difficulty. This peace is not the absence of challenges, nor does it mean that life suddenly becomes smooth and effortless. Rather, it is a deep, quiet assurance that, no matter what unfolds, you are being carried, guided, and safeguard it. It often comes when the mind cannot see solutions, when the future feels uncertain, and yet there is a subtle knowing that you are not alone in your journey. This inner calm is not born from external circumstances, but from something deeper, a connection to a force beyond the rational self. While your intellect may struggle to make sense of events, your soul rests in a quiet recognition that everything is unfolding as it should. For many, this peace feels like an anchor during the storms of life. Even when emotions surge, even when fear whispers its doubts, there is still a stillness that assures you, you are safe. This too shall pass. Consider the moments in your life when chaos surrounded you, yet somehow you felt steady inside. Perhaps others panicked, but you sensed that things would resolve. Or perhaps you faced great loss, yet instead of despair crushing you, there was a strange comfort that rose from within, carrying you through. This is not something that can be explained purely by psychology or logic. It is protection in its purest form, a spiritual shield that gives you strength to endure and clarity to see beyond immediate suffering. Such peace is not an illusion or denial of reality. It does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that difficulties are not present. Instead, it is a reminder that you are connected to something greater than yourself. It whispers that every hardship carries meaning, that every setback is part of a larger design. This peace allows you to surrender the illusion of control and to walk forward with trust, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced to stay. The higher power grants this peace as both a comfort and a compass. It is comfort because it reassures you in moments when you would otherwise collapse under the weight of uncertainty. It is a compass because it helps you discern the right direction. In a noisy world filled with confusion, this peace points toward alignment. If you walk a path and feel turmoil, resistance, and agitation deep within, perhaps that is not your road. But if, despite external challenges, you feel an inexplicable calm guiding you forward, that is often a sign that you are being divinely led. To nurture this inner peace, you must learn to trust the pauses, the silence, and the spaces in between. It requires stillness, reflection, and a willingness to listen beyond the noise of the ego. Many resist it because they crave certainty and answers immediately. But the peace of protection does not always reveal the full map. It simply reassures you that the journey is safe, even if the destination is not yet visible. When you learn to recognize and embrace this calm, your relationship with life transforms. Fear no longer dictates your choices. Anxiety no longer blinds you to opportunities. Instead, you begin to move with faith, allowing this inner assurance to lead you toward what is truly meant for you. In this way, protection is not only external, it becomes an inner sanctuary, a space where you rest in the knowledge that the universe is always on your side. Have you ever noticed that just when life seems to be falling apart, something unexpected steps in to hold you together, as if an unseen hand rearranges circumstances, or a quiet voice within whispers, "You are not alone." These are not mere coincidences. They are signals that a higher power is at work in your life, shielding you in ways you may not fully recognize. We often think of protection as physical safety, but the truth runs much deeper. A higher power communicates through subtle signs, shaping the path before us, closing doors we once wanted, and opening ones we never imagined. The first sign of such protection is the mysterious way obstacles and redirections show up. At first, they seem like disappointments. The job that fell through, the relationship that ended, the plan that collapsed, each may feel like a loss. Yet over time, you realize that what once felt like rejection was in fact a redirection, sparing you from harm or leading you to something more aligned. Protection often disguises itself as failure, but when you look back, you see how life was quietly guiding you away from what could have destroyed you. Another profound sign is the people who enter and exit your life. Relationships are not random encounters, they are part of a larger orchestration. Some arrive to teach lessons, to awaken dormant parts of you, or to support you in crucial moments. Others leave, and while their departure may sting, it is often the universe's way of removing influences that no longer serve your growth. Protection sometimes means subtraction. It ensures that your circle reflects your evolving spirit, creating space for healthier connections that nurture rather than drain. There is also the guidance that emerges from within, a voice beyond reason, often called intuition. When you are being protected, this voice grows louder. It may warn you when something feels wrong, even when your mind argues otherwise. It may push you toward opportunities that seem illogical, but later prove transformative. Intuition is not merely instinct. It is a channel of protection, a higher intelligence steering you away from hidden dangers and toward hidden blessings. To ignore it is to walk blind. To follow it is to walk protected. Alongside intuition comes an unmistakable sense of timing. Things may feel delayed, or even denied, but later you realize they unfolded exactly when you were ready. This divine timing is not accidental. It protects you from receiving what you cannot yet handle, and it ensures that what arrives in your life aligns with your capacity to grow. Impatience blinds us to this truth. But when you reflect, you see that the pauses, the waiting, and the delays were all part of a design meant to protect your spirit and prepare your path. Finally, the most intimate sign of protection is an unshakable inner peace during times when turmoil should consume you. This calm does not come from logic or external security. It is the quiet assurance that, no matter what unfolds, you are being held. It is a peace that defies chaos, whispering to you that the storm will pass, that you are not abandoned, that life is unfolding exactly as it must. Such peace is both shield and compass. It comforts you in struggle and guides you toward alignment. When you step back and connect these signs, you begin to see a profound truth. Protection is not always about preventing hardship. It is about shaping you through it, guiding you with hidden hands, and ensuring that what is meant for you will not pass you by. A higher power protects not by removing life's challenges, but by using them to awaken your strength, refine your path, and deepen your trust. So the next time a door closes, a relationship ends, or you feel an inexplicable calm in chaos, pause and reflect. These are not accidents. They are the universe's way of saying, you are safe, you are guided, you are protected.